Welcome to Viewpoints. My name is Tracy Frisano. I'm a lieutenant with the Montclair Police Department in New Jersey. Currently, I am the Center for Homeland Defense and Security Alumni Fellow at FEMA, and today I'm going to be speaking with Scott Kelberg. Scott is the Senior Advisor for Training at the Nationwide Suspicious Activity Reporting Initiative Program Management Office. Welcome, Scott.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to start out and talk about the evolution of Suspicious Activity Reporting Initiative. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. Suspicious Activity Reporting, or SAR, is our pre-incident indicators or behaviors that could possibly be linked to a terrorist event. The program that administers the SAR initiative program is a joint Department of Homeland Security and Department of Justice initiative. It's a fairly new program. It's only been around since the beginning of 2010. But the important element of the SAR program and the Suspicious Activity Reporting Initiative is that it came out of the 9/11 Commission report dealing with we've got to do a better job of connecting the dots amongst law enforcement, other public safety entities, and the citizenry at large.
Oh, okay. What is the current status of it?
The current status, although it only really began in 2010, we've really made some great progress. 67 fusion centers are currently NSI implemented, which means they have a privacy policy that addresses SAR. They've been through the analyst training. There's about 6 or 7 other points, but they're compliant with the SAR program. The other 7 fusion centers are underway as well. In terms of training law enforcement, because the program is for state and local law enforcement, such as yourself in that capacity and your peers, to train them on what are the suspicious activities. There are 16 very specific activities and or behaviors that are identified in what we call a functional standard, which is really the backbone of the program. And it's to afford this information for law enforcement. In terms of training, there's 800,000 plus law enforcement in this country, state and local. And we've trained about 25% of that number. And we continue to move forward through national associations to spread the message about the training. The important part of the training is not only the behaviors, but the protection of the privacy rights of individuals. That First Amendment due process rights, just like in everyday law enforcement, have got to be forefront with the SAR initiative. But the SAR program in general is nothing more than everyday police work, but it's really about asking the next question, and asking the next question is based on those specific behaviors that are identified.
Okay. And how is DOJ and DHS working with state and locals?
It's really a joint program, which is really fantastic. It's really an example of 2 agencies working together. Also closely working within the Department of Justice is the FBI. They play a big part of the program. And DHS, Department of Homeland Security, having a big role with the See Something, Say Something campaign, and that being for the general public to be aware of something and to call local law enforcement if they do see something that they think is suspicious. That's coming out of Department of Homeland Security. Department of Justice with their legacy law enforcement programs, training and technical assistance for law enforcement over the years. It's a natural fit. It works well with the FBI because there's a system called the eGuardian system, which is big, an important part of the process with the state fusion centers, and they play a big role as well. The director of the office, his name is Tom O'Reilly, and he's 25 to 30 years of heading up the Department of Public Safety in New Jersey. So although it is a federal program, it's really a national program, and the leader and the director of the program is directly from the customer base, state and local law enforcement.
And what are the current challenges that you're facing now to get this initiative forward?
Well, one of them that I mentioned is the sheer numbers. We've got to train 800,000 line officer law enforcement in the country, as well as running through the 70 plus fusion centers and making sure they have a basic understanding of what is and isn't a SAR program. So we have to train 800,000 line officers in this country on the basic behaviors and the privacy. It's a 15-minute online DVD that they can easily get. As I mentioned, we've approached about 25% of the nationwide law enforcement, sworn law enforcement in this country. So as you can see, it's a big gap. And as we led up to 9/11, the 10-year anniversary of 9/11, we had some great progress. And we continue to work with the International Association of Chiefs of Police, the National Sheriff's Association, to serve our customer base, which is really state and local law enforcement.
And what is the primary message you're trying to get across today for our state and local partners?
The primary message is really to ask the next question. The SAR program, Suspicious Activity Reporting, in all of its elements, is really the basic, same premise of basic police work, but it's going that next step to ask the next question. Something may be suspicious. It might be one of those 16 identified and specific behaviors, and all the while, make sure that to understand that the privacy rights of the individual are right in the front of the elements. But it's really basic police work, asking the next question. It's based on very specific behaviors that local law enforcement, working with their state and federal partners, need to make sure they understand. And one of the ways that we're doing that is through the training that we're providing that identifies those behaviors, working with state and local law enforcement to make sure we have the information and it's flowing. And it's not only working with law enforcement. We now are expanding the program in terms of our training base. We've got the public awareness piece through the See Something, Say Something campaign, and now we're working with other public safety, criminal justice, and key infrastructure and key resource partners such as private sector security. These individuals are in the community through different emergency management, fire and rescue, community corrections, and other private sector security, and also 911 is the first place the public will call if there is a possible crime being taken place. So we are working not only with law enforcement and the public community, but we're also working in those 5 new sectors and developing a training for them, because we really feel that asking the next question is vital to the program.
Scott, you mentioned behaviors. Can you go into a little bit more depth on that?
Sure, it's really the element of the program that's so vital. So I appreciate you asking that question. Of the 16 behaviors, some are criminal in nature and some may be pre-operational planning activities of a possible terrorist event, like a cyber attack. Others, like photography, may not be crimes, but they might lead to something else. The basic premise of the program, like I've said, is about asking the next question. And it's important to focus on where the activity or the behavior is taking place, when the activity is taking place. Is it in proximity to critical infrastructure and key resources? Is it close to other symbols of the economic industry or private sector security? Is it near stadiums? Is it near those kinds of monuments, those kinds of things? Where is the activity taking place? The key element is not to focus on the who. It is not about the individual and what they look like or their race or religion. It is really about their behaviors, no matter if it's something on the list of 16 that is criminal in nature or could be possible links to pre-operational planning for a terrorist event. And that is really what the program's about. Ask the next question, but make sure you have in mind the privacy rights of the individual and take into consideration the totality of the environment, which is not just the training on the SAR program, on the Suspicious Activity Reporting Initiative, but take into consideration, as you know, your other training. What have you learned in terms of your other required law enforcement training? What has that taught you about the environment, about different behaviors, and put all of that together and leave out the who and ask the next question. And really, when it comes down to it, that's what it's all about. Because the privacy rights of the individual are paramount to the program. But we need for law enforcement to work with the public sector, to work with the private sector, to work with other government agencies, federal law enforcement, emergency management, fire, community corrections, 911 operators, and other private sector security partners to make sure that we're doing what the 9/11 Commission asked us to do, which is connecting the dots through an additional prevention program and to really be a piece of the puzzle and be another key to the prevention of a terrorist attack.
Scott, I found it very informative what you said today from a local perspective, and I'm sure our state and local partners will really enjoy this interview. Thanks for coming today.
Well, thank you very much for having me.